Hello, everybody. Welcome to Nintendo Expression Pass here on Boss Rush Network. I'm your host and last excited ADV. Joining me is the one, the only Busman himself, Mr. Corey Derrick. Hello, good sir.
Hello. Hello. Hi, Ed. How's it going?
Hi. It's been a while doing the Expression Pass, in a sense.
Yeah, well, we usually record them in a grouping, right? And then we'll record a
Yeah.
bunch later. Like, Monday we have a night to where we're recording a bunch of stuff. So, we'll get there.
Yes.
But it's all part of this cool idea we got from a question from Powblock yesterday, I guess, if you're listening to this on Patreon.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, everybody, we were talking about launch games and what system had the best launch games. And because of this question, we decided, and Corey came up with this idea, to go through past Nintendo consoles and handhelds and look at their launch library and just talk about them, like what we think, what games did we pick up, if we got it at launch. I got my Switch later, but I did pick up some of these games. And so we're gonna be talking about the Nintendo Wii U. We're gonna start with that, and then we're gonna go backwards because I think the Wii U probably had a big library of diverse games.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go through the list. Corey, you also have the list in front of you too.
I do. I have IGN's Wii U launch game guide open, which never was updated after the Wii U launched, apparently.
We have, and we're only speaking on the United States, everybody. We're not doing UK or Japan or anything else, just the US. We have Assassin's Creed 3, Batman Arkham City Armor Edition, Call of Duty Black Ops 2, Chasing Aurora, the Darksiders 2, Disney Epic Mickey 2, The Power 2, EA Sports FIFA Soccer 13, ESPN Sports Connection, Game Party Champions, Just Dance 4, Little Inferno, Madden NFL 13, Mass Effect 3, Mighty Switch Force Hyperdrive Edition, Nano Assault Neo, NBA 2K13, New Super Mario Bros. U, Ninja Gaiden 3, Versus Edge, Nintendo Land, Rabbids Land, Scribblenauts Unlimited, Sing Party, Skylanders Giants, Sonic and All-Star Racing Transform, Tank, Tekken Tag Tournament 2 Wii U Edition, Transformers Prime, Trine 2 Director's Cut, Your Shape Fitness Evolve, Warriors Orochi 3 Hyper, Wipeout the Game 3, and Zombie U.
It's quite the list.
Yeah.
So I don't know where you want to start. We were talking about some of these like not launch window titles, but the other announcements that were like quote unquote unofficial or rumored games, right? And like
yes.
Man, that Zelda Wii U tech demo's on here. Every time we bring up the Wii U, I have to bring that up because it's the best looking Zelda thing I've ever seen in my life. And it's this was my version of that Space World demo.
Well, now that you mention it, Corey, these were the games that in the launch window.
I don't think we need to do launch window games, man. We'll be talking forever.
Because Aliens Colonial Marines.
I had that pre-ordered, by the way. The Wii U version.
Oh man, I think the reviews came out on a Sunday.
Well, it got canceled. It got canceled for Wii U.
Yeah, it got canceled for Wii U, but I think it got canceled because of the reviews for that game. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I'm sure. Those reviews weren't great.
Yeah,
Not
that
great.
game. Yeah, that drama still hasn't. I don't even think still has never been fixed or whatever.
It's been something.
Yes. But let's get look at this. Get into this list because, of course, with Ubisoft being a big pioneer, they had Assassin's Creed 3, Um, they had Zombie U,
Rabbit's Land.
Rabbit's Land. Like they had 3 games, and I gotta
Yeah.
say, we saw the demo for Zombie U, with them using the gamepad and everything, and it's so well, because I have it, and then Toys R Us was getting rid of the guides,
Hmm.
so I got 2 of them. I shipped one out to my good friend Eric Hunter. Shout out to him. Um, and yeah, I still have my book, and I still got that game.
You want to hear something funny that I just learned like a couple months ago?
Yes.
Do you know what Ubisoft's first registered IP that they owned was?
Was it Raymond?
Nope. No,
What is it?
their first ever IP that they ever registered to own themselves.
Not Prince of Persia.
Nope. A game called Zombie with no E
Hmm.
was their very first IP. And this Zombie U was supposed to be like an homage to that old game.
I do
I think it's
not
some sort of
remember that.
I think it's some sort of adventure game, like a Mist or something like
Uh,
that. Like one of those.
Interesting.
But yeah, their very first IP was called Zombie, which is why
Hmm.
the game is called Zombie on other platforms. Because remember, it came to Xbox One and PlayStation 4 digitally
Yeah.
later.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
because they had to remove all the touchscreen functionality,
Hmm.
and that's why it was that's what the U was for.
Hmm.
Actually, Justin and Villarreal, he was on our live show, watching the show. I brought my Wii U over to his house to play the game and get a touch, and he enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah, Zombie U was stressful, man. Game was stressful.
Darksiders 2 was always good. And everything. I didn't get Disney. I think I got Disney Epic Mickey 2.
I feel like Epic Mickey wasn't a launch title for some reason. I know I said I bought it on launch
Hmm.
day, but I don't. Maybe I didn't because I feel like that game came out later. I feel like that
I
game was
thought so
delayed.
too, because I remember it came out on Wii and on Wii U, and I believe I got the Wii version, and then later on got the Wii U version.
What day did the Wii U come out?
Um, for North America,
Yeah. Because it came out on November 18th, 2012.
yeah.
Hold on, let me look that up. It did come out on launch day. Okay. Nope. Okay. Cool.
Hmm.
Never mind then. Uh, yeah. Okay. I felt like it got delayed or something. Maybe it got delayed out of its original release date
Uh
to
huh.
launch with the Wii
The
U.
Wii U.
Because obviously, you remember Epic Mickey was a Switch or Wii exclusive up until very recently.
Yeah.
Um, huh. Interesting. I hope they do a remaster of this one too. I know it's not as good, but Epic Mickey 1 Rebrushed was a very good remaster.
Yeah, I got that one on Xbox. The Switch one was all sold out, and they didn't restock it.
Mm,
So I gotta try to find a restocks of
yeah.
that one
Unless you're
somewhere.
a, unless you're a diehard Switch person, uh, Epic Mickey Rebrushed definitely is probably should play it on another platform, to be honest.
Mhm.
But I got the Switch version because we're Nintendo people. So
And plus, somebody might be looking for it, so that's easy money to jack up the price.
yeah.
Um, Assassin's Creed 3.
Hmm.
That one led into Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag.
Hmm. I
I've,
played
I've
both of those games on the Wii U, and I completed both of those games on the Wii U.
nice. um,
uh,
I'm actually playing. I actually started Assassin's Creed 3 because I never played it. I started it on Series X. It's
mhm.
okay. It's not
Are you
bad.
playing the remastered version? Or are you
Um,
playing the original?
I think I'm doing the 360 version.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Because the remastered version it fixed a lot of the issues that people had with that opening. Because the opening is like you play as what's his face for like 6 or 7 hours before you even get to Connor, right?
Uh
So
huh.
uh, they adjusted some of that, I guess.
Because is that the one that you were like in the town that you got off the ship
Hmm.
and then got into the town.
Hmm. Yeah. So yeah, I've been thinking about Assassin's Creed 3 a lot recently for some reason. I've been
Mm.
wanting to go back to like that America trilogy,
Yeah,
which is 3 Black Flag and Rogue.
I believe I have. I don't think I have Rogue on Series X. I know I have Assassin's Creed 3, the remaster on Switch.
Hmm. They're all
Um,
remastered now. Rogue is also remastered
remaster. Okay,
on the current platforms. So
okay.
if you have Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you probably have Rogue for free. Honestly,
I may have it. Yeah, because I got
because
Assassin's Creed. What you said Assassin's Creed Origins, right?
Odyssey, I think.
Odyssey. Um, I have that on multiple platforms. Uh,
Yeah, because I think Rogue came with Odyssey.
okay.
That was a weird, and that was like the one game I was like kind of shocked didn't come to Wii U was Assassin's Creed Rogue,
Rogue.
because like it came out the year after Black Flag, but also it came out. That was the year Ubisoft released Assassin's Creed Unity on Xbox
Mm-hmm.
One and PlayStation 4, and then Assassin's Creed Rogue came out the same exact day on 360 and PS3. And it was like, why are you doing that? Ubisoft, man. And we wonder why they're in the predicament they're in now.
We will talk about that one later.
Will
Um,
we? I don't. Will we?
I
Yeah.
think once we get more information and see what happens, yeah. Batman Arkham City Armored Edition. I didn't get this one because I had already finished Batman Arkham City on PlayStation 3.
Hmm.
So I didn't feel like revisiting it on Wii U.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
I bought it, but I had only played. I had recently played Asylum, and
uh,
I was like, well, I'm just gonna wait and get Arkham City on Wii U because it was coming there, and it was had. Reggie's had that thing where he said it has exclusive content, but it ended up just being like the charge glove, which was like not anything. Like there's literally nothing different about the game except for that. Uh,
mhm.
but yeah, it was kind of funny. Oh, the way people used to try to sell games, so fun.
Oh shoot, Nintendo Reggie was always good for it. Fizame, he was always good
Yeah,
for it.
yeah. Reggie, man, what a guy.
Yeah, what if I ever meet him, I'm just gonna say like, "Hello, good sir. It's good to
Hello,
see
good
you."
sir.
Be like, I
I'm
have your
sure. I'm
book.
sure you'll be able to walk right up to him and shake his hand.
No, I definitely would tell him like, I have your book. So, um,
Yeah, I do too. It's on the shelf right here
yeah, I'm
with
just like,
Iwata's book and the comic book history of video games.
oh, nice.
Not a very good book. It's
Oh,
fine.
Chasing Aurora. I think that was an eShop game.
I don't remember that game at all.
It looks there's a bird going through like lines
Hmm.
and stuff. It looks very basic. I'm looking at it on YouTube, so I get it. I never heard of this game too, so yeah, that one. Never mind. I will say any of the sports stuff I completely skip. Some of these game party champions. It's such a generic title. I forgot that when video games really had like generic titles.
Hmm.
And they were always like on Nintendo consoles. Maybe a little bit on Xbox. Um but man, there's just been some pretty generic ones.
Yeah, it's interesting for sure, right? So
Mhm. Little Inferno.
I don't remember that game. I mean, I remember it, but I don't remember what it is.
Uh, so I'm trying to look it up. It looks like another eShop game. Yeah, Nintendo eShops must have games. Um,
Hmm.
it looks like it's a puzzle game.
Hmm. I don't remember it at all. Not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, like a mix of Tetris and Brain of a Fire. Yeah, it looks very weird. It's an eShop game. So yeah.
Hmm.
Um, I think Nano Assault Neo was a shoot 'em up game. I know Mighty Switch Force Hyperdrive was also like a 2D platformer. I think there's so many versions of Mighty Switch Force though that's out.
Hmm.
Mm.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
I know the big one on here was Mass Effect 3.
yeah. Mass Effect was so aside from like the choice based stuff, which is obviously the main part of the game, right? Like the
Mhm.
main part of the trilogy, I should say. I actually really loved how they handled Mass Effect 3 on the Wii U. Like they had a lot of cool things on the gamepad, like being able to route your squad into like flank enemies in a way where like you could actually like position them on the gamepad and
Mhm.
kind of the map and stuff obviously was on your gamepad, but also like just the way certain items were handled and stuff. It was really cool. Like it was really neat. And obviously like the gamepad just kind of became a map for a lot of games and UI
Yeah.
stuff over time, but like I don't know. I actually really liked how they handled Mass Effect 3. I really liked Mass Effect 3 on the Wii U.
It
But
was it was still it was fun because I
yeah.
played the Mass Effect 3 in the trilogy
Yeah.
collection. And
Hmm.
I did play it on Wii U, and I definitely enjoyed it. I'm like, oh, this is still fun.
The
Tight
here's
controls and
the
everything.
here's the thing though. Like literally 2 weeks later for the same exact price, they released the trilogy collection on Xbox and PlayStation. And it's like,
Yeah,
well, why would I buy one game, the last game of a trilogy, for the same price as the entire trilogy on the platform that everybody has, right? Like
yeah.
it made no sense. Like release the entire trilogy. Like if you're releasing the box set, like just release the trilogy.
And that's why it was so weird that we didn't get 1 or 2 on Wii U because like PlayStation 3 didn't get one because it was the first one was Xbox exclusive for
Hmm.
the 360, and then 2 and 3 came out for
Yeah, I mean at least two. Like at least release two. Like one, okay, I understand, right? Like
yeah,
obviously Microsoft published. It did come to PlayStation 3 eventually, right, in that trilogy box set, but
yeah.
um, you know that's
What was it terrible?
because EA ended up making that deal to publish it other places. But
Hmm.
I mean, man, but I do like I understand like okay, maybe you don't bring one over because it's so like obtuse and weird and strange and whatever, but like 2 is a classic. 2 is like an amazing game that like
Yes,
really like goes with 3. Like you play them back to back, it's like an amazing experience, right? It's like, oh man,
yeah.
they feel very similar. The UI is pretty similar. It's just uh, yeah, that was a mistake not bringing over at least 2 also with
And
3.
I I think after the launch just for with EA after their launch games, I think the last one was it Need for Speed Burnout or one of the Need for
It
Speed
was
games.
Most Wanted, I think.
Most wanted.
Yeah, because it was
Yeah,
called Most Wanted U, and it had like exclusive Wii U features in it.
and I think that was the last game that EA did for Nintendo. Um,
Um,
until Switch Two. Um,
I think they put out a second Need for Speed game on Wii U. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like Hot Pursuit came to Wii U also.
I wonder EA games.
But yeah, I mean, that was the end of EA on Nintendo, right? I mean, for a long time. Obviously there's some stuff on Switch, but like for the most part, like that was kind of the end. Uh, I know that Madden game was actually pretty expensive for a while, uh, but uh, it's funny though because like I want to go back to Darksiders 2 real quick because we
Yeah,
kind
go
of
ahead.
we kind of skipped over it a little bit.
Uh,
It was Darksiders 2 was like a really awesome launch game for Wii U. I feel like that game is like, man, if you're going to buy a third party game for Wii U on launch with Mario, that's the game to buy, in my
yeah.
opinion. I really like Darksiders 2. It's one of my in that entire series, it's probably my favorite game in the series, right? Out of the four
Hmm.
games that are out. And just like the loot stuff and like Death's movement was so
Quit.
clean and like it was just I really like Darksiders 2. Uh and like there are actually two versions of that game printed on Wii U. There's the THQ version, right?
Yeah.
Because they went out of business right before it launched, but like the cases and the discs had already been pressed.
Mm.
But there's actually like a Nordic Games version before they took the name THQ Nordic or whatever, and then Embracer Group, obviously. But like, there's actually a second printing of that game that says Nordic Games on the cover,
I didn't know that.
and I think the THQ one is actually like kind of rare because it was that launch print of the game. I mean, I
Huh.
don't know if that means it's expensive or not. I'm not sure, but like I remember that distinctly. So because Darksiders War Mastered Edition, the game came out.
Yeah.
The game ended up coming out on Wii U after the Switch was out. Uh, right. There's like three major games that came out after Breath of the Wild. One was Darksiders, one was Cars 3, and one was like I don't remember, Just Dance, I guess. Right.
Hmm.
But like, yeah, man, the Darksiders 2 was like that game was awesome. I love Darksiders. I love Darksiders. I wish yeah.
I
I guess that entire series is on Switch now, right? Yeah.
yeah.
Kind of
Yeah,
forgot.
because the remaster is on it. Darksiders 2 is on it. They were late putting Darksiders 3 on it.
Hmm.
Um,
And then Genesis, which was that top down.
yeah. So all of them are on Switch.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I forgot there's a new Darksiders game in development too.
it is?
Yeah, remember they made that weird announcement? Like it was just uh the chamber where war is held in the first game. Like the heads, like the
Hmm.
console that council heads.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we talked about that at some point. But yeah, Darksiders and making a return. I wonder what it's going to be. It's probably going to be that. See, they saw so much success with Remnant
Uh-huh.
2 specifically. I bet the next Darksider is going to be a Remnant clone, like a loot based kind of run based game.
But why didn't let's see, Gunfire Games, the studio behind Remnant series, is now developing the new Darksiders games because that was actually Virgil. A vi, vi was it
Vigil.
Vital? Vigil Games. I wonder though, will this be the final one? Because I they
Well,
haven't wrapped
the
they haven't wrapped it up, the
well
story.
the plan was to release us like originally before THQ went under, and like they split the studio into two, and obviously Airship Syndicate is one studio, and then
Yeah.
the Gunfire is the other studio that does it, right? But like
Mhm.
the plan was to do a single player game for each of the horsemen, and then the final game be the
Yes.
multiplayer game, which they've kind of done, right? Because Genesis is not Fury. Who's the four horsemen are Death, War, Fury, which was Strife. Strife was
Strife.
it's Strife's game. Uh was Genesis theoretically, although I always thought that was going to be like a first or a third person shooter. But um yeah, I mean this could be it. This could be that last game.
Because I wonder when the Strife in War, when that takes place in the Darksiders
It's a
series
prequel.
to the first one.
Yeah.
So Death and Furry is somewhere else.
Death and Fury or Death or 2 and 3 take place during the
Uh,
section that's missing in Darksiders 1.
one, but Genesis takes place before one. So
Hmm.
that's why I was wondering, where is Fury and Death during Genesis?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Because I thought when 2 and 3 were happening, see, that's so weird what happened with one. Such a confused. I had to go watch a recap. There is a breakdown of all of it.
You could just play them all.
Because well, yeah. And the funny thing is, I own all of them. Um, I thought so. While one is going, I thought all three of them were going at the same time.
I mean, maybe they are. I'm not 100% sure. I just know like that part that's missing in 1,
Hmm.
you know, 2 and I feel like 2 and 3 take place within that, because there's that scene in 3 where Fury visits Death or visits War in the chamber, right? That's
Right.
like that's dirt. That's like that part missing between War, like the intro to 1, and then when War is is charged with going out into the world, right? Like that missing time is when 3 takes place.
Is with Furry going there. Yeah, because Strife is on the planet um during 3. And it's not revealed until the end when Fury sees Strife, because he turned into a different character and everything. And then while that is happening, Death is coming back to Earth. I think because of the call or
Yeah,
something.
maybe. I'm
It's
not
it's
sure, man.
such a weird thing, but Darksiders 2 I do enjoy. I think I need to play. I need to play. I do have War Master on Xbox. Like I said, I have all of them. But I got Genesis on Switch. I need to finish 2. That's the 2 and Genesis. I need to finish. With it. I think 2 just gets overwhelming because they keep dropping weapons like almost
Yeah, I mean
every any piece.
it's like a Diablo-esque like loot system, right?
Yeah,
And I think that's what turned people off of it, is like there's just so much loot that you have to go through and grind through, but like I don't know. I think it's worth it. I think that game is great. I really like that game a lot. I think 2 is awesome.
and yes. Ninja Gaiden 3 versus Edge. Um, I don't think that fixed any of the problems from Ninja Gaiden 3.
I
Um,
thought that's exactly what Razor's Edge was. It's the release that fixed all the problems.
yeah, because I don't think it added any new weapon or anything.
I think it added the purple haired girl from Dead or Alive. uh, I don't really know what her name is, but that's fine. Uh, yeah, Ninja Gaiden was interesting.
Because
Because
that was a
I remember playing Black on Xbox One or Xbox original, whatever
hmm,
Xbox, and two came to 360, and I watched my friend play it. I was like, man, this looks way too hard. I don't really feel like playing it, which is funny because it's actually quite trivial now because I played the remaster that recently came out, or
yeah.
and it was quite easy. um, which is kind of funny to think that like Ninja Gaiden 2 was like the Souls game of the era, right? Where it was like super difficult and whatever. And like I just kind of breezed through most of it.
Uh-huh.
um,
Yeah, because this one, yeah, Nintendo published this one.
mhm.
It's a 2012 action adventure game developed by Team Ninja and published by Nintendo. It was November 12th to May 13th, subsequently released by Tecmo Koei for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 in April 2013. It is a enhanced port of Ninja Gaiden 3 that includes all DLC from the original title as well as additional enhancements made to improve the game. The game can be considered as equivalent to the Ninja Gaiden Sigma games as it makes several changes to the original title. So the Nintendo published one is uh probably a collector's item since Nintendo published it.
No, I have it. I just bought it on Amazon for $9.
Oh, is that cheap? Oh, dang.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
really cheap.
I have the copy too. For Wii U, um, because I know it was in that collection. The version of the game was released for Switch, PlayStation 4, Windows, and Xbox One as part of the Ninja Gaiden Master Collection on June 10th, 2021.
Yeah.
So I I so I thought it was I know it was had a time exclusive, um, but I just thought that I thought Nintendo paid for the development for that game, but I wonder if they just paid for the exclusive time to be on Switch, and once that time was over, it went to everything else. I
Hmm.
wonder if they just paid just for the exclusive time for it.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. And I think Nintendo needed games, and I think they went there and said,
Mm,
"Hey, if you add extra content and clean up what people didn't like, we'll publish it and fund it."
yeah.
Sounds like a Nintendo move, right?
uh,
Bayonetta 2, anyone?
oh, but I think Bayonetta 2 is never going to any other console besides Nintendo.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
I don't think. I think Bayonetta is only popular. I don't want to say it's only popular because of this, but like I think Bayonetta is its popularity is because of the attention it got that Nintendo was publishing it.
Hmm.
If it came out on everything, I don't think it would be as popular as it is. If
Yeah.
that makes
I,
sense.
I I think because I feel like Ninja God. I feel like Bayonetta 2 went on Wii U really showcased platinum games and put them on the map. Get like visibility because they ended up having a lot of work not only through Nintendo but more work through Activision with some of the licensed
I mean,
games.
Square also. I mean, you look at Nier and
Yeah,
for better or for worse, Babylon's Fall and whatever else they were doing, right? Like
you, they had the Ninja,
platinum,
they had the Ninja Turtles, they had the
right?
um
Transformers.
Transformers, um,
I think they did
Kaya
Avatar.
from the Avatar game. Like they had work, and then Scalebound from Microsoft on the 360 that got canceled. Like they had work, because of how popular and beloved Bayonetta 2 was.
Yeah.
And like I said, regardless of sales for the game or and everything, um, when they was getting Platinum Games was getting a lot of word of mouth
Hmm.
because of Bayonetta 2 on how great the game, and then they start seeing people start seeing the reviews, and Activision had to pay attention because people kept mentioning that game on rewards and stuff. Um, with it getting like a lot of personal game of the year nominations. Like
Mhm.
it was my game of the year when it came out. Like I think what 2014, I believe Bayonetta 2 dropped. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and it was just and like she
Gosh, we
became
talked about Bayonetta 2 for like, because remember the early days of PAL Block, we were talking about Bayonetta 2,
uh-huh.
right? Because we kept saying like, because they brought the original Bayonetta to with Vanquish, right? And Sega had that entire teaser site, right?
Mhm.
Dedicated to like a Bayonetta countdown or whatever. And they ended up making like a 4K version of it for PC or whatever. And then they ended up releasing it in that collection with Vanquish
Yeah, but
on Xbox and PlayStation.
yeah, and Vanquish never came to Switch, and it was just
I
like
know.
we this is game that we wanted. But when
Were we talking about Bayonetta on Wii U or on Switch?
we were talking about on Wii U. We did talking about it on Switch, but we were talking about Wii U because the Bayonetta one, they had like remastered it, cleaned it up because they had Bayonetta in a Princess Peach costume,
Right.
in the Star Fox costume, and Bowser's paws were like the demons and stuff stepping on enemies. And
Yeah.
we was talking about Nintendo being this family friendly thing, but they let Bayonetta be in these sexy costumes.
Right. And the
Uh,
Star Fox outfit too.
yeah. So it was just like, wait a minute, like, because the thing about it is, Nintendo was allowing a M-rated game on their system for them. Like they paid for an
Mhm.
M-rated game and everything, and they got the bonus of getting like two M-rated games, and because Bayonetta was so popular with word of mouth, that's why she ended up in Smash, which was probably exclusive since Nintendo paid for the development stuff. And then Bayonetta 3, which came to Switch with the release of Bayonetta 2 and 1 on Switch, with the trilogy and the collection and stuff. Um, it was just seen that Bayonetta was a big hit with Nintendo because of word of mouth and people knowing, seeing how much they love that character and
Mhm.
everything.
Yeah.
And then Platinum Games just, even outside of Sega with Astro Chain, like and helping them do Star Fox Zero and stuff, Nintendo and Platinum Games built a great relationship and still have a great relationship.
Mhm. Yeah. Bayonetta, man. That's I still need to go and play Bayonetta 3 because, like, I feel like I didn't give that game quite a fair shake.
Shake.
Although we were doing a lot at that point, and I just didn't get
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah,
Uh, I didn't play Nintendo Land, Rabbit's Land, Scribblenauts, Sing Party, Skylander Giants. I definitely was selling at work. Sonic All Star Racing Transform was really good. Um, Taking Tags Tournament 2 Wii U edition. Toby, Tecmo Koei and Nintendo was building a good relationship after Metroid Other M, and like I think it led to definitely with Ninja Gaiden, definitely with Tekken Tag is Namco. Sorry everybody. Bandai Namco. Cause I don't think when did Bandai I wonder when Bandai Namco start doing the Smash series.
the Wii U one.
The Wii U one. Okay. And so yeah, so with them building a great relationship, I think from Smash, because I don't know if Bandai Namco did anything else with Nintendo before that. Um, I think this
I mean,
is
they did that weird like Pac-Man multiplayer
okay.
game, right? That the GameCube one, right? That was them. The multiplayer with the Game Boy Advance
Yeah.
Pac-Man World or something. That's what that was called, right?
Yes. You know what? I think this was the time where and I think I talked about this on Podbot, and we had a discussion about it in some of the during the Wii U era. Um, that Nintendo was sticking mostly to Japan developers and working with them, and not really working outside American developers. And if they did work with any American developer, it was way forward because we wanted Shovel Knight to be in Smash,
Yeah,
and we thought that Nintendo would be working with
yeah, Club to do
uh
that.
yeah um
Yeah,
with
that's
them.
still a bummer, right? I mean, I still wish like Smash was, or I still wish Shovel Knight was in Smash. What a, I mean, he Shovel Knight technically is, I guess, right, with the what do you call it, the assist trophy, right? But
Mhm.
you know, dang.
Yes.
Anyway,
So um Transformer Prime I didn't play. Prime 2 I think I played later. Your Shape Fitness Evolve, we both were trying to get in shape. Um Warriors Orochi 3 Hyper. I think so I think that game got laughed at because nobody was playing the Warriors games. And so it
well, it
got
was also
laughed.
like that weird one that had like the cowboy girl on the front of it that nobody really like knew what it was, I don't think,
Yeah.
right? And so like, I mean, then like, people were playing Dynasty Warriors, but the spin-off games were always looked at as like the, oh, what are you doing with this spin-off game, right?
Uh-huh.
And then like Hyrule Warriors came out, right? And people were
And
like,
blew the
oh,
whole series up.
they're like, oh, whoa, this game could, like, the Warriors games are kind of neat, and like then Fire Emblem Warriors came out, right? And it was
Hmm.
like it added a whole new twist to the whole Warriors thing because it actually implemented the Fire Emblem kind of battle like rock paper scissors formula to it, like the
Yeah.
and so like, yeah, I mean that was a weird one because I think it got underlooked because Warriors games weren't popular in the mainstream, at least at
Cause
that
it
point.
because a lot of the series were on PlayStation 2. Maybe PlayStation 3 also. I don't remember that era for the Dicey Warrior games.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I think they were everywhere. I just
everywhere. And
yeah.
so yeah, I know it's one of the series that was, and I think that's the thing about Wii U that a lot of people don't give no props. Sorry, everybody, for the side tangent. Was that it? Not only did it build a lot of relationships with a lot of Japanese companies, it really got people into a lot of these series that they would never even think about or play. Like nobody really was playing the Warrior series, and then Hyrule Warrior dropped and it blew up.
Yeah, I think the Wii U, like looking back now, right, on the Wii U era,
Hmm.
is it really felt like Nintendo was trying to build relationships that would actually come through on the Switch, right? And
Yeah.
so because if you remember, the Wii U was Nintendo's first HD console,
Hmm.
and they were still trying to figure some stuff out, and some games were taking longer than others to make. That's why it launched with New Super Mario Brothers U instead of like a, I don't want to say a proper 3D Mario, but like a big tentpole game, right? Like it they went through some things with it. And so
Hmm.
uh I think you look at the Switch, right? We talk about how the Switch is really just the Wii U backwards at this point, right? We're like, oh, instead of putting the console in a box and putting the gamepad streaming to the gamepad, why don't we put the console in the handheld and then stream it to the TV through the dock, right? Or
Yes.
uh, oh, the HD stuff is really cool, but the tablet stuff doesn't really work that well. So why don't we, do this, and this, and let's build on the relationships we were building on during the Wii U era and see if we can create anything interesting. And like, we got obviously like Hyrule Warriors and Fire Emblem Warriors ended up coming over. Well, I think Fire Emblem Warriors was a 3DS game, but you know what I mean. Like those Warriors
Yeah,
games ended up coming over, and then we got sequels, right? Straight up sequels, which were arguably much better. You know,
yeah.
I mean, I think Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition in terms of gameplay is probably better than Age of Calamity, but we got like a whole prequel to Breath of the Wild in a Warriors game, right?
And that created the trilogy discussions that we was having, even though
Yeah,
it didn't happen the way that we hoped it for. But
yeah,
we didn't expect that. I'm like, the Legend of Zelda getting a trilogy.
right.
That's never really happened. Like, okay, like some of the get like there's two games maybe in that particular world of a Zelda game, but Age
Well,
of Calamity, Breath of the Wild, and Tears of the Kingdom, that's all three games in one world.
right, and then we talk about we talk about Fire Emblem Warriors Three Hopes,
Hmm.
right? Like going back into the Three Houses world, but like creating that world's best character in Shez, essentially,
Yeah,
right? Like that's something cool that hasn't really happened a lot. So like, I think we talk about the Wii U and a lot like I know there's a lot of hate for it, and I think yes, the tablet feels like a Fisher Price toy, and it's got a lot of weird things about it, but I think at the end of the day, like, you know, people obviously bought the great games on the Wii U on the Switch,
yeah.
right? Like,
It, dude, Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, as whatever people think about that game, led to Monster Hunter 4 selling bunkers of numbers. Why Fire Emblem, um was it Fates when 4 dropped? Because
was what?
Awakening had
Sorry,
already happened. And
what did you
Awakening
say?
got people into the Fire Emblem systems, and that was making money.
Yeah.
There was I think it was Fates, because Fire Emblem and Monster Hunter 4 dropped at the same time. Because Monster Hunter 4 had that limited edition 3DS.
Hmm.
And I think that game ended up selling 1 million. Because after 4, Generation sold, the story sold, but like it really prepped people to get into Monster Hunter World. So people got into the Monster Hunter series with Monster Hunter 4, but like Ultimate 3 Ultimate was really good on Wii U.
Yeah.
And I think this is when Nintendo and Capcom was kind of getting back together in a sense, because you had the Resident Evil games on Wii U. Um, they had something else on Wii U with Capcom. I'm about to look up their library from Capcom, but like Capcom was getting back into the Nintendo sphere of things, and then the 3DS happened, which led into the Nintendo Switch stuff happening.
Hmm.
Like I think with the Wii U was kind of like the beginning or stepping stone for, like I said, a lot of Japanese companies getting back into Nintendo and becoming successful.
Hmm.
Because like I think we don't have no Square Enix games on for Wii U. No,
Um,
we have one. What was the it was the goodness, what is that
it
game?
was the weird board game with Dragon Quest in it, right? Fortune Street.
Fortune
It
Fortune
had it
Street.
was like Mario characters versus Dragon Quest monsters or something, and it was like a board game.
What is that stealth game that Square Enix did with the one guy? Deuce
Stuff.
X.
Oh, Deus Ex. Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was Eidos Montreal, right? And
yeah.
that was like the definitive version of that game because they fixed like the boss battles or whatever and added
Uh-huh.
some, kind of streamlined the way that powers worked, right? And so like people actually really liked that version of the game.
And I think Square Enix did it because I think Bravely Default. So, like, Square Enix slowly got back into Nintendo because of Bravely Default, or even maybe Dragon Quest.
Well,
Something,
they were
some,
trying to like right. They were like trying to get back to their like RPG roots, right? Because that was also around the time when they were like playing around with selling their Western arm, right?
Yes.
Like a couple years later, maybe. Um,
Dragon Quest 9 was on DS, 3DS.
yes, 3DS.
Because I think that's when Square Enix and stuff were getting back with Nintendo. What's the 3DS stuff? And money was
Well,
good.
Dragon Quest X was the MMO, right? Like that never came out here, but
Yeah.
it was also that was like a Wii U and 3DS exclusive.
Yeah. And they did an offline version of it and it still never came.
Well, there's still rumored to be coming here at some point, I guess.
Well,
But
shoot. By the time that happens, 12 will be out.
but I mean, you know what else though is like the I mean, Final Fantasy 14 was also rumored to come to Switch at some point too. So
Yeah. But then like Bravely Default, um, Octopath Traveler 1 and 2 project, Triangle Strategy, or like all of those little games that Square Enix was putting out on Switch made them money. They were selling good, and everything.
mhm,
But like for Wii U, um, Square was so into PS3, PS4, 360, and Xbox One, putting out all of those games, but they weren't selling like they used to sell.
yeah.
And everything. Um, and so when like, cause they weren't satisfied with the sales of all the Tomb Raider games. They weren't satisfied with Sleeping Dogs. Just a lot of stuff they weren't satisfied. Kingdom Hearts got pushed back, and then finally, I mean, yeah, they put out the whole trilogy like collection of stuff, but like people overlooked that and everything, and it
Mhm,
was just like Square Enix on Xbox and Sony weren't doing anything pushing the needle, but this stuff on Nintendo consoles and the 3DS was doing mad numbers. Definitely 3DS was doing mad numbers.
mhm. Yeah. Well,
Um, trying to, like I said, no, wipe out the game 3, and like we said, Zombie U. So I mean, that pretty much was their like launch lineup.
yeah. I mean, it was a pretty good lineup, right? I mean, that was a
Yeah,
yeah.
and
So
and I think I mean, I, it was the most diverse lineup, and back to having third party support for the system. And
mhm,
that was the important thing. Even though a lot of it were ports at the time, it was just the support for the system. And yes, it was a time that a lot of people were into gaming on Xbox and PlayStation because they thought those were that system. Those systems were for adult gamers, bigger, more mature gamers and stuff. And it was just a weird transition for it. They thought that the Wii U was kiddie. Some people say that they didn't understand the marketing. They thought it was just an updated version of the Wii, but I'm just like, no, this is their next system and everything. Um, and yeah, the Wii U didn't succeed that Nintendo was hoping for, but I mean, like you said, Corey, it led to the Switch, and look what the Switch has done. And
mhm.
now people, they want to play those Wii U ports.
I
You
mean,
know,
clearly because most of them are in the top 20 games, right?
you know,
I mean, look
some
at
of them,
Mario Kart, right?
yeah. Heck, shoot, Mario Kart is probably like the leading game on the platform.
It is by like 20 million units.
Insane.
And Mario 3D World and Breath of the Wild, right? I think people forget that Breath of the Wild is a Wii U game. Like,
Yeah.
uh, so I mean, I know that Breath of the Wild was so important to the Switch launch, right? And like people really, really associate it with the Switch, but that was developed as a Wii U game.
Mm-hmm.
and it is a Wii U game. So yeah,
And
that
it's still considered as the best over to the kingdom from some people,
yeah.
and everything. But I'm, to get, I think with the Switch, people are going back to the GameCube library that's available that they can purchase. They're going back to the Wii and the Wii U games and stuff. Like people stuff that the people missed out on Wii U, they're playing on Switch and everything. And I think it's instead of us saying, well, you should have played it on, no. I'm like, now you realize why we love this game and this franchise from the Wii U era. You're
Hmm.
getting to play and you're getting understanding, and you're probably getting a better version than what was on the past hardware. If not, and if you can find the hardware in that original copy or stuff, then you can go play it there. But I'm like, if it's available on Switch, play it.
Yeah.
Wii U, dude, we talked big about 3D Mario, Super Mario 3D World. Like, that game is a classic on Wii U. And then to see it on Switch, even with Bowser's Fury, we were just happy to replay that game. Cat the Toad Tracker, um, we was just like, everybody, this is a game that you need to play.
Hmm.
And it did what it did when it came out. It did some numbers. People played it, was picking it up.
Yeah.
And then the Amiibo, Amiibo, as much as people laughed at it and everything, they brought it on Smash. And then they started seeing Amiibo do all the other stuff. Your
Hmm.
Wolf Link Amiibo, uh, from Twilight Princess, and then you was able to use it in Breath of the Wild
Yeah.
on Switch.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I think Wii U just had a lot of great stuff, and people missed it. But I feel like my answer in Power Block was just like, I feel like it had the best launch list of games.
Hmm. Yeah. Wii U, man, it's a great console. I'm glad that most of those games have made it over already, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that those games kind of got to see some sort of love. Um, and now we're just waiting on Zelda and Zelda and maybe a fixed port of Star Fox Zero. And
Yes.
Yoshi's Woolly World remastered.
Ah, yes.
I would say Kirby and the Rainbow Curse, but I don't. That game
That game.
requires the stylus and the second screen and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
that would be a
Yeah.
hard one unless that whole second screen experience thing is coming. So,
Yeah.
but that's a whole different thing for a different day. But I think they could really make like a have their cake and eat it too Wii U DS 3DS situation with that, the way they were talking about the technology and that second
Hmm.
screen patent. But
I would say this. I think that would make a nice co-op game in a sense.
what?
Rainbow Curse.
Mm, yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I mean, the Yoshi games are so.
True. Very true. Well, Corey, how about we wrap it up there? Um, should we do Wii next time or should we go to 3DS?
Um,
Like,
it probably doesn't matter. I mean, we could probably do two in one episode. I mean, the Wii launch lineup was not very large
that
in
is true.
comparison. So we could
I d-
probably do like, well, the 3DS had a huge launch lineup. Let's do 3DS because they had a huge launch lineup.
Okay, we'll do
Because
3DS
it had
then.
like that, it had that Street Fighter 3D, right? And then
Yeah.
what, Star Fox 64, I think was one. And uh, yeah, it had a lot of cool, weird, interesting. Plus, like, we could talk about the whole like uh, ambassador thing. Like, that would be an interesting conversation, right? When like they dropped the price drastically.
Oh heck yeah! I was just like, what was it like out for a month or something?
No, it was like almost a year, but Yeah, it was. Yeah, what was it? It went from like $250 to what, 170 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, man. Yeah. Anyways, yeah,
Oh,
we could talk about that. But
yeah. March 27th, 2011 for 3DS. 3 first party games and then a bunch of third
what were the
party
first
stuff.
party games? Steel Diver,
Pilot Wings,
Pilot Wings,
Resort,
right?
Steel Diver, and 3 variations of Nintendogs and Cats. Nintendogs and Cats was on. I thought they came later. Oh
No,
wow, I
I
didn't know
think
that
there
was
was I
released.
think there was another version that came out later.
Okay. Super Street Fighter 4, The Sims 3, Meta NFL Football, Pro Evolution Soccer 2011, Lego Star Wars 3, The Clone Wars, Ridge Racer 3D, Super Monkey Ball 3D, Bust the Move Universe, Samurai Warriors Chronicles, Asphalt 3D, Combat of Giants, Dinosaurs 3D, Rayman 3D, and Tom Clancy Ghost Recon Shadows War. Dang, Ubisoft has some games on the system. Crap.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Quite the yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll get it. Yeah, we'll have to look at the ambassadors program because was it like 10 games or something?
Yeah,
Or something?
no, it was like 20.
And how many? I wonder how many you could select.
And you got them all, and they were never sold separately.
Oh,
That was the whole thing. That's why like 3DSs with ambassador tickets on them are like really were going for like a lot of money at some point, because like those games you couldn't buy them.
mhm.
So like, cuz like it had like Yoshi's Island, I remember, was like the big one, because the Game Boy Advance version was like Touch Fuzzy Get Dizzy was like it was like the weird version,
Uh huh.
but this was the true Super Nintendo version. And so like that was like a big deal. So I can't remember all the details, but I remember Yoshi's Island being on there was like a huge deal.
Deal. All right. Well, I'll do some research and yeah, everybody, we'll talk about the 3DS launch lineup and ambassadors. So with that, anything else, Corey, before we wrap it up?
I don't know. Probably, but also no.
Okay. Well, everybody, this has been Nintendo Expansion Pass. Want you guys to have a great week, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time on Nintendo Expansion Pass. Bye, everybody. Woohoo!
Goodbye. If you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushNetwork. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, Matthew Keel, and Todd Oxtra. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network.